Hey guys, Carla with Carla's Clever Crafts here. Today I'm going to be working, well this is my second wreath of the day, but this time I'm going to be working on this cute little, what looks like a Volkswagen van bus sign. It's got the cute little Easter bunny up here in the corner driving, and then got a little yellow bunny on the front there, and says Happy Easter on the bottom. This design is going to be one that you could also use through spring, so it could take you all the way to summer. This little Happy Easter sign is so small that it would be barely noticeable, so I think the design overall would also work for spring. Also, it is just glued on, so if you didn't want to leave that on after Easter, you could just pop that off and save it, and then next year put your little hot glue on there and just put it back on for Easter, and do the same thing for after Easter to get you through the rest of spring. Okay, so we're going to be designing this on a 14-inch wire frame. The 14-inch wire frame, I get these at the Dollar Tree, and I have pre-wired this one and started putting the mesh and ribbon tails on the first layer just to speed up our video. But you're going to have 12 pipe cleaners on the outside 2 rings and 6 pipe cleaners on the inside 2 rings. And real quickly, I'm going to show you how to do that. I am going to make this design available in my Etsy shop as a resupply kit. So if you wanted to try this one on your own, you could purchase that kit, and it would contain all the materials that you see me using today and putting on the wreath. Only thing not included would be the tools that I use. So to do your pipe cleaners, I work on one section at a time. A section is between the 2 crossbars. You have 6 sections on the entire frame, and you're going to put 3 pipe cleaners in each section. So to do that, and I'm showing you how to do this because of the fact that I am offering that resupply kit. Obviously this instructional video, if you purchase this kit, would be helpful to you, and you would want to know exactly how to do it, and not have to look and search around a bunch of different videos to know how to put your supply kit together. So I start off on the inside 2 rings, and I'm trying to line it up in the middle of these 2 crossbars. So just get as close to the middle as you can, and pull it kind of tight. You don't want your pipe cleaners to move. And then you're going to twist the knot on this inside ring. So just twist your knot that you're tying right over top of this inside ring, and then push your pipe cleaners down to the middle so they'll be out of your way when you're building your design. The reason that I twist over the inside wire is because it makes this more sturdy. If we twist on the outside, which I did when I first started making wreaths, because I thought, oh, that'll make my mesh go further and make my overall design bigger. But what happens when you do that is it's wobbly. Your pipe cleaner will move around on that edge, and then your mesh, your ribbons, anything that you add into this pipe cleaner then is going to be wobbly. So it doesn't work out, and it's not worth the extra inch or so that you might get in your overall design. So to add the second pipe cleaner in this section, we're just going to come to the outside 2 rings. In the middle of this pipe cleaner we just put in and the crossbar, just try to find our middle there and repeat the same process. Wrap your pipe cleaner around those 2 outside wires, line it up so that it's even as possible, pull it tightly. You don't want to pull so tight that you break your wire frame, but you do want it tight so it doesn't move, and then knot over that inside ring. So just twist your knot right over top of that inside ring. And then my ones on the outside, I push those out to the outside so they're out of my way when I start designing. We're going to repeat that process on the same side, come to the outside 2 rings, middle of the crossbar and the pipe cleaner we just placed in, and line up your ends, pull tightly, twist the knot over the inside wire so that it is stable, and push it down out of your way. You repeat this process for all 6 sections, and that is what gives you your 12 on the outside 2 rings and your 6 on the inside 2 rings. Okay, so once you get that done, then you're ready to proceed to the next step. And I'm going to take a second here and see if I can get my live video to load in on my computer so I can see comments. Just give me just 1 second. Okay. So the next step is going to be doing our first layer of mesh. And in this wreath design, I decided to mix it up a little bit. And we're going to use 3 different meshes. I'm going to see how I like this overall design when we get to it. I think it's going to turn out really cute. First, I am using this light pink mesh. It's 10 inches wide. All of my meshes are 10 inches wide. All of them are cut to 16 to 17 inches long. And then I'm also using this natural beige burlap mesh with white cotton stripes through it. And that is what we're going to use around the first layer of mesh, our base. So we're going to alternate those 2 colors. And then we're going to come in on the top layer of mesh with this really pretty pink and blue and green and white iridescent mesh to top it off and tie all of our colors together. As you can see, I tried to match my colors to my sign. So I'm going to have the blues in this, and then the pink I literally pulled from the bunny's nose because I just felt like pink would really offset this very well. And then I have this burlap beige color in our sign. And then also our primary ribbon is going to be this van, Volkswagen van ribbon. And the background of that is like a light beige color. So that's another reason I decided to incorporate the beige and the mesh and from our sign, okay? So I'm going to lay our sign to the side. I'm going to show you how to do the first layer of mesh. We're going to be doing the Cruffle method again. My favorite design, if you've watched my other videos, I really like using the Cruffle method because it protects from fraying. Okay, the last one I laid in was the burlap collar here. So the next one we're going to do is going to be the pink. We're just rotating those 2 collars around the bottom. And we're working at this point only on the 12 pipe cleaners on the outside 2 rings. That is all we're using at this point. So you lay your piece of mesh out, and it naturally will curl up. You want that natural curl upright. So your curls facing upward. You're going to fold the edge using your pinkies to hold the ends down, and you're going to roll it 2, 3, 4 times. That keeps your ends curled under well to protect down here. Gives you a nice curl of everything tucked under if you do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and once you have your 2 curls, you're going to turn it over so your curls are facing down. And now it's time to make the ruffle. So you're just going to scrunch small sections at a time down the middle, pinch the 2 sides together, and you're going to end up with what looks like a bow. Okay, on the bottom layer, we're going to be placing our mesh with the finished edge to the outside and the inside. And when you're attaching this bottom layer of mesh, you want to pull your pipe cleaners very tightly. You want to really secure that in there, and then just give it a good couple twists. Okay, adjust your mesh if you need to, so it's laying the way that it should. Always pull your mesh to the right out over top of the piece of mesh you've just laid in. That keeps your pattern consistent all the way around. And now we have one more here to do. So we'll do the burlap. I'm going to do the exact same process. Curl the end, 2, 3, 4. Put a clip. You can use a clothespin. This is actually a chip bag clip from the Dollar Tree. 2, 3, 4, 5. But you can use whatever you have that's handy. Just something to hold your curl together while you do the other curl and ruffle. I'm going to place it in the exact same way. Finished edges to the inside and outside. I do that on this design because that gives us an overall wreath design of 24 to 25 inches wide. Again, I'm pulling the mesh to the right out and putting it over top of the piece I just placed in. Okay, and you're going to do, that's your next step, is doing the mesh all the way around. And I had put 10 of them in before we got started, and I showed you how to do 2, but you're going to do that process all the way around your 12 outside pipe cleaners, not working on your 6 inside pipe cleaners at all yet. Okay? My allergies are kicking in, so I apologize for that. Okay. Next, we're going to take a look at our ribbons and how we're laying those in. Get situated here with these so I can show you what I did. Okay. So I already showed you, let me get a different piece of the van ribbon because I want to show you. It does have blue vans on it, which match our blue sign. This particular piece that I had cut only has a little piece of the blue van on the end here. And when I'm choosing my ribbons that I'm going to use on the very top layer of my design, I am going to select the ones that have the most of the blue van showing on the ribbon because our sign is blue. It is mostly blue. So I'm going to try to make sure I get that blue van showing up on top of the wreath. That's not a necessary step, just a little twerk that I really wanted to match up my sign on my top layer. So we're going to use this really cute, it's beige background with pink polka dots. And then it's got the vans in all different colors, green, blue, red, or pink, yellow, green, blue. Okay, and then I decided to, since the bunny's driving our van, I'm going to use this beige background ribbon with white bunnies and pink bows. So that's going to be our 2 primary ribbons. And then our secondary ribbons are going to be this solid yellow and then this pink that has like some white stripes running through it. All of the ribbons are 2.5 inch, except for this yellow is a 1.5 inch. You could use a 2.5 inch in this design and it would also look good. I'm just using what I had on hand. Okay. So on our base, I'll show you where I started. I have to show you, you will need, how many pieces? 9 pieces of each ribbon. So I believe that's correct. Yes, I think you're going to need 9 of the yellow, 9 of the pink, 9 of the bunny, and 9 of the van. These are all cut to 12 inches and they're dovetailed on each end. I'll show you how to dovetail real quick. Just fold your ribbon in half long ways. Match up your ends as best as you can, and then you're going to cut diagonally. Oops, my ends aren't matched up, so make sure you hold that tight and keep those matched up. You're going to cut diagonally from the folded edge to the wired edge and just cut at an angle. You can cut that as deep or as shallow as you want your V to be. And then when you open it up, you have that pretty V on the end. It gives you a nice finished edge to all of your ribbons. Okay, so when you start out, you are going to take 3 of these yellows and 3 of these pinks, and you're going to cut them in half to 6-inch pieces. So I usually line up 2 or 3 of them at the same time, match up the ends the best that I can, fold them in half, lining up those tips to try to get the pieces as even as possible, crease at the bottom, and then you're just going to take your scissors and cut them in half. That's going to give you 6 6-inch pieces of yellow and 6 6-inch pieces of pink. Okay? So we're going to start then with our 6-inch pieces, dovetailed on one end with a straight edge on the other end. We're going to come in on top of the pink and the burlap mesh that we just laid. And I chose to put the yellow 6-inch on top of the pink mesh, and then the pink 6-inch on top of the burlap mesh. I didn't want to put pink on pink, so that's the reason I chose to do that. And then I've just rotated those 6 inches all the way around. So 6-inch yellow, 6-inch pink, 6-inch yellow, 6-inch pink, all the way around. And I've done the first 10 or 9, 10. And the last one I did here was a 6-inch pink. So I'm going to come in here with the yellow and show you how we put those in. So I lay the 6-inch ribbon in front of me. On the flat edge, you're just going to scrunch it between your fingers and pinch it together like that. Make sure your dovetailed edge is facing to the outside of your wreath. Open up your pipe cleaner and just lay it in there and twist it in real tight because you don't want your ribbon to come out. And then I just fluff up my ribbon after I get it in there, push up and arch it close to the pipe cleaner and curl it outward so that it lays kind of like an arch. And then we did yellow, so next is pink. And you're just going to rotate these 6-inch pieces all the way around. I usually put all my 6-inch pieces before I start overlaying with my 12-inch pieces, just for simplicity and to keep me from getting confused in my pattern, to be honest with you. If I try to do too much at one time, I mix up my pattern and then end up having to redo. Okay, so once you have all your 6-inch pieces all the way around, it will be time to use our 2 primary ribbons, which is going to be our bunnies and our van. And we're going to leave these 12 inches and we're going to overlay them over top of the 6-inch pieces. So here you can see I've already laid the van over top of the yellow, the bunny over top of the pink, van over yellow, bunny over pink. Repeat that all the way around. And I last ended here with the van over top of the yellow. So next I'm going to put the bunny over the pink. And to do that, we lay our 12-inch piece out in front of us, scrunch it down the middle, V it back towards yourself. Make sure your ends line up so that it's even, and it will look like a V. And you're just going to place that down inside of your pipe cleaner right over top of that pink. Now when you put your 6-inch pieces in, make sure those come straight out the middle of the piece of the mesh that you lay them on, because then when you put this 12-inch piece on top of that, it will V around the 6-inch piece and you'll be able to see all 3 tails of the ribbon that you've just added to that section. So when you're done putting it in, you just clip off the extra pipe cleaner, push it down in and squeeze it. Fluff up your tails. And I'll show you real quick what I mean. Have your 6-inch pieces coming straight out in the middle of your piece of mesh that you put it on, because then when you add your 12-inch piece, you're going to V it. That way you can see both ends of your 12-inch piece and your 6-inch piece will be visible in your design. Okay, so now we're going to do a van. I'm going to do the one that just has a little bit of blue on it because I'm going to save my other ones with the blue van for the top layer. Exact same process. V it back towards yourself. Keep it pinched in your hand. And then we're just going to place that right over top of the yellow 6-inch. And this process you'll just repeat all the way around, remembering that you're still working only on the 12 pipe cleaners on the outside of the wreath form. We've not touched these 6 ones. We still have those tucked to the inside. Okay, so just fluff up your ribbons. I like to curl my ends so they kind of curl around my mesh. And next we have a pink 6-inch. So we need another bunny. Hey honey, thank you for watching. Okay, scrunch down the middle and V it back towards us, making sure our ends are lined up. Place it in over top of our pink. And then since this is the last ribbon on this layer, I need to, and I don't want to leave, because we have overlap everywhere, all the way around, and here we have both sides of the bunny on top. So I just want to pull this van real quick out and overlay that over top so it's the same and uniform all the way around. Okay. Our next step is going to be working on these pipe cleaners we've not yet touched on the inside. There are 6 of them, and to start designing on them, we need to reach between our pieces of mesh and pull them to the outside. I do all of those at one time for the sake of ease, so that I'm not trying to cruffle and hold cruffles and pull pipe cleaners and everything at the same time. I just go around and pull them all out to have them ready and waiting on me. So now I have all 6 pipe cleaners pulled to the outside. This is so that we can continue to build our design up. I wanted to show you real quick at this stage, you can, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera angle, but you can still see the wire frame underneath in some places. That is normal. If you're making this design, do not worry about that, because our next step and our top layer of ribbon is going to take care of that. You're not going to see any of the wire frame, and your overall design is going to end up about 5 to 6 inches thick. So next I'm going to use this pretty blue mesh. Well, blue, pink, and green, and it looks like there's some purple in this too. So this will tie all of our different colored bands together, bring everything together for us. We're going to do the same method, the cruffle method, with this mesh. 2, 3, 4. Put your clip. Turn the clip away from you. Same thing on the other end. And this is, I'll show you real quick, this is a window pane mesh, so it's kind of see-through. So it's going to give us color and texture, but you're still going to be able to see the materials that are underneath of it too. That's one thing I like about this. So there's our 2 curls on the end. Put those face down and scrunch right up the middle. This mesh also has lines on it, which makes it easy to make sure you're staying in the middle and getting everything nice and even. You end up with this little bow. We have 6 pipe cleaners, so we're going to do 6 of these, do this process 6 times. We're going to put it in our pipe cleaner, but this time we're going to turn our mesh so that our finished edges are to the right and the left. It's going to look like you're placing little bows all the way around your wreath design. When you put this layer of mesh in, you are not going to pull this one tight like you did the bottom. You're going to leave it floating towards the top, because you're trying to build your wreath design up, and if you pull it down tightly to the frame, you're going to lose this mesh inside of the other materials you've already added. Okay. So we have 3, 4. We have 5 more of these to do. Try to speed it up since it's repetitive. If anybody has any questions or comments or suggestions, regardless of whether you're watching live or replay on Facebook or on YouTube, leave them in the comments. I will get back to you. My turnaround response time ranges between 1 and 2 days right now. Also has a yellow in it, so it really has all of our colors that's pulling together with this layer. And then also when I'm placing these in, I like to just line up the edges of each bow so they're touching. Oops. This mesh is also very iridescent, so it's very shiny and pretty. And I am kind of mixing together here, like shiny and sparkly with natural beige colors, which are typically more of a farmhouse theme. But the white cotton reminds me of bunnies, and we have bunnies in this design, and then we have all the various colors, spring colors in our van ribbon. So I think it's going to all tie together nicely, even though I'm doing a non-conventional mixture of materials. I love to experiment. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. There's not anything that you do when making a wreath that cannot be undone and redone. So don't be afraid of mistakes. There's not any mistake that can't be fixed. Okay. One more. Alright, so this is what we have. You can see, we really can't see down to the wire anymore. That's completely covered up. We're starting to get a nice thickness and fullness to our design. And then we still have one layer of ribbons to add. We're going to keep them paired the same way. So I have the yellow paired with the van. We're going to stick with that. To do our ribbons on our top layer, instead of V'ing them, we're going to make an X. So lay your ribbons in front of you in a crisscross pattern to make that X. Scrunch down the middle and squeeze the two sides together. And you literally have what looks like an X. And then you're just going to place that straight down into your pipe cleaner. Twist your pipe cleaner 3 or 4 times. And we're not adding anything else to this, so now I'm ready to snip off the extra and push it down inside and give it a squeeze. And I'm just going to adjust my ribbons, fluff them out. And see, we have the blue van showing on top here. That's what I was talking about with trying to cut pieces that have more of the blue van. And so we're going to rotate the pattern. So now we need to do the bunny over top of the pink. Same process. Make an X. Scrunch down the middle. Pinch the two sides together. Just like that. And lay it into your next section. We have 6 sections, so we'll do this 6 times. Cut it off, push it down in and squeeze it. Sometimes when I put my X in, I don't like the way that a particular ribbon lays. So you can just take and pull on the opposite sides of that ribbon and adjust it so that it's laying in there the way that you want, and then fluff it out. Okay. And now we're back to our van, which I selected one that has the blue van showing on top. This wreath is going to be available in my Etsy shop for the completed wreath, and then I will also, for anybody interested in making this wreath, I will be having a resupply kit available with all the materials that you see me using. I decided to do that. I was thinking of ways that I could help customers that have messaged me about wanting to start making wreaths, but they're new to it. And I thought one of the things that was a hurdle for me in the beginning was the cost of materials, because when you buy ribbons, here we're using 4 different ribbons, you have to buy a minimum of 10 yards of each ribbon. So you have to buy much more than you actually need to use. You also have to, we use 3 different meshes, so you would have to buy 3 different colors of mesh. If you're not spending $69 to $100, depending on which site you're ordering from, you have to pay shipping costs for those materials. And all of these materials came from 3 different locations, so that's going to be at least 3 different shipping costs you have to pay. And I thought I could make a resupply kit with my designs provide you only and charge you only for the materials you actually need and will actually use. And that could help people who are just starting out be able to afford to do some really pretty designs that they like without having to invest so much money up front. Okay, so now we're back to the bunny and the pink. And then we have 2 more sets to go around the top. And then we'll add our sign. I fluff my ribbon tails as I go, but you can choose to put them all on and then fluff them at the end. It's really just personal preference. So we're back to our band. We just did the bunny. Because I'm just starting to do resupply kits, quantities will be limited because I don't have, a warehouse full of unlimited materials. I work out of my house. So most of my kits will be limited to 1 or 2 being available. This particular kit, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I may only have the materials for 1. To check on that after a while when I'm getting ready to list it. Okay, and this is our last set of ribbons for the top. And if you squeeze those pipe cleaners, push them down in and squeeze them the way I instructed, you see I can really pull hard on these ribbons to get them to lay the way I want them to and to do what I want them to do, and they're not going to come out. They're going to stay attached in there because you've secured them very well. Okay, so this is what we have so far. It's very cute. We're going to get ready and add our sign. There's the side view. Okay. Now to prep this sign, this is not thin like some of the MDF signs that I use. This is a thicker wood sign, so my hole punch is not going to go through this. I also do not like to drill holes through my signs because I want customers to be able to use these in the future for other purposes if they so wish to. So what I do is I come to the back of these signs and I use E6000 glue. I put a big glob of it down first, place my pipe cleaner, fold it in a V shape. I place it inside of that E6000 glue and hold it there. I come over top of that with my hot glue and spray a very liberal amount on top of that. And then I take a piece of material or excess ribbon and I spray it on there, or I push it on there, and that hot glue will dry faster than the E6000. So that hot glue addition lets the E6000 set up to guarantee a very secure hold on my pipe cleaners. And so I do that on both sides. And I did this in advance of the video because it does take a while for it to be set up. And I wanted to be able to pull these, show you guys that this is very sturdy. Sun is not going to come off. So it works very well. So I'm going to, I think, just position this little guy right in the middle. Let's see how I want him in there. And all of this really pretty iridescent mesh, I kind of want that to frame around my van, I think. So I'm going to pull it all about and kind of position it so that it rests around or frames around my sign. And then we're going to start by finding our pipe cleaners underneath, bringing them down between all of the mesh and ribbons, and finding our wire wreath form underneath. I wrap around the 2 inside rings, and get a hold of it. This part requires a little bit of patience. And then once I get it around those 2 rings, I come back up before I start twisting, and I make sure that this is laying in here centered and about where I want it. It's not mashing down any of my mesh that I want to be framing it. And then once I have it positioned, I start twisting the pipe cleaner around itself, which is already wrapped around those 2 wires on our frame. Now, in this case, I'm not going to have any extra to cut off. So I am literally going to just take the end here, and the end, these pipe cleaners have wires, so the ends are very sharp. You'll want to be careful, but I wrap it around this wire ring on the frame so that I can push the sharp edges up to the inside so that I don't get poked, somebody else don't get poked, and it leaves a smooth finished edge. Okay, so we're just going to turn the wreath around and do the same exact process at the top. Push our pipe cleaners down through all of our layers of mesh. Okay. They're kind of short, so hard to hold on to. This is what I'm talking about when I use wire to add my signs, and how I like to leave my wire extra long. The longer the piece of wire or pipe cleaner you're working with, the easier it is to push down through there and wrap. Okay, so I've got it through. I've got it around the 2 inside rings. I'm just going to double check. Sign is pretty nice. I like where it's laying position, looks centered to me. It's framed by all of my mesh and ribbon tails. So I'm going to go ahead and start twisting. Now, do not pull your signs too tight. You'll sink them to the back of your design, and they will get lost and overwhelmed by the mesh and the ribbons. You want your sign to kind of float on the top. And then same thing, twist it, twist it, twist it, just so it's good and secure, and then wrap that end around and push those wires up inside. And that is what we have, our cute little bunny driving the Volkswagen bus or van off for Easter Day celebration at Momo's house. Okay, I really like it. I think it's cute. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, even if you're watching replay or on YouTube. Let me know what you think of this design or any suggestions you have or questions. And thank you guys again for watching me. Let me just look and see. I think guys, Aunt Peg, one thing about the resupply kit is it helps save money, and then also they'll have these tutorials. They'll literally have the same materials. They can come back to this tutorial and watch how I put it together and even put their own spin on it or change things around, that would make it easy for people that are learning. So thank you for that feedback. I'm glad you like that. I hope others do as well. We're going to give it a go and see what happens. Okay, thank you to everybody that watched, and I will be on here again soon. So if you guys aren't busy, don't have your own lives, come back and spend some more time with me, and we're going to make a farmhouse country rustic theme design Easter spring ready. All right, have a good day.